I have had several questions from people about recording their own content and then posting it themselves, editing it themselves. And so I wanted to give you a quick rundown of some ideas that I have. There are lots of different ways to do this, but three simple ways that I'm going to share today. So this is going to be a very hands-on tutorial video this week. So the very first one I'm using currently, it's called Loom. So if you are recording something and you want to be able to have, say for example, you want to have a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to go to a Canva presentation that I did recently, and I'm going to go into present mode. Put me over here. And so then I'll see it as though it's a full screen presentation. And then I can actually go through, if you've done a PowerPoint presentation, you can talk about your presentation. So you can record with Loom this way. So Loom is really great for quick videos that you want to be able to record very quickly, show what's on your screen, and send it out. So this could be your PowerPoint presentation. You could speak directly to this. You could go through your points, talk about why it's important to do these different things. And you can see I'm just presenting directly from Canva. So this is one option to utilize. Now you can also, when you're recording in Loom, you could actually go full screen. You can make yourself smaller. You can make yourself bigger. You can go full screen, so you could record inside of Loom and then it will upload it. It will record it on your computer and then it will upload it also into the video. You can also just record just an image of you if you just want to have you talking. But where video is very powerful is being able to see people. So I always recommend that you utilize your camera if possible. So Loom is one great way, and it's very quick, very easy to use. I recommend it before using over Zoom. Some clients ask about using Zoom versus something like this. The reason why I recommend Loom over Zoom is that it has a higher quality video. So Zoom is starting to catch up. They are starting to allow you to record higher quality videos, but oftentimes it's not the greatest as far as quality. So Loom is going to be a much better option. So then the next question would be, another option would be Descript. So Descript is similar. You can actually record content inside of Descript. So you can take and record something that you've already done. So let's say, for example, these are some projects that I was working on for a client. But let's go and do a quick recording. We're going to go into recordings and we're going to do a new recording. So I'm going to choose if I'm going to do a video project or an audio project, a remote recording. And remote recording is in beta. So this would be, say for example, you were working with an editor like me and you wanted them to record. They could record remotely and then they could have access to the footage. But this is for clients who are looking at doing this for themselves. So we're going to start with a video project. So then Descript is going to go in and it's going to say, okay, do you want to use the desktop app or do you want to use the web app? I have downloaded the desktop app and I recommend that if you're going to do some serious editing. But if it's just a quick project, you can continue on the web. So we're going to continue on the web. And then right here, we're going to start recording. So it's going to say, okay, actually you can't start recording you have to open the desktop app. So with the desktop app, you can say, okay, we're going to start recording. And it will do just what Loom would do. It's going to ask for access to your videos. It's going to ask for access to your audio. Now, because I'm recording this in Loom, it's going to give me a couple of errors because it can't record with two different projects, two different softwares. So I'm going to stop this recording in Loom and then I'm going to start it in Descript. Okay, so now I'm in Descript. So similarly, I had the option when I came into Descript, I told it which camera I wanted to utilize, which I'm using my FaceTime camera right now. I'm using my AirPods because I wanted to show you that you could do this very easily, very quickly. If you have a higher end microphone, say for example, you have a face microphone, or you have a boom microphone like this, or you have a podcast microphone, or you have a different camera, you can select within Descript and say, this is the camera that I want to utilize, this is the microphone that I want to utilize. And then you can have other options as far as recording. You can screen capture just like you could in Loom. You can also record just your camera like you would, like I'm doing right now. And then you can also record your screen or just audio. Some clients actually like to use Descript because it has a couple of AI integrations. Loom does as well, Riverside. These are the three softwares that I'm talking about today: Loom, Descript, and Riverside. All three of them have some AI built in and have some editing that's built in. And so you want to recognize where you want to edit, where you don't want to edit. I would recommend with Loom especially, don't do any editing. Have your presentation ready. You can actually even have it so that it has bullet points and you can look at the bullet points. And then similarly in Descript, you can start recording, you can stop recording. So this is the recording that I did, and you can see that it automatically goes through and sees some of the places where I could edit. So it takes out these pauses, these gaps down here on the bottom, and it transcribes automatically. And so as you're editing, you could do script-based editing. You could go through and start playing. You can say, let's say, for example, I wanted to get rid of, okay, so now I'm in Descript. I would just hit delete, and it would actually get rid of that. And then I can do Command Z if you're on a Mac. Control Z, I believe, is on a PC. So that's to undo. So you can see that it's already looking at some of the different places. These filler words that I use, it's suggesting that those might be places that I would want to edit. And inside of Descript, you can do some editing very quickly. You can actually add some additional effects as well. Say, for example, you want to utilize, you want to have closed captioning. So that's one of the effects that you can do. You can actually do some color adjustments. There's a great thing here called eye contact, which is crazy that it actually does this, but it takes artificial intelligence and reanimates your eyes so that if I look down, but I want it to look like I'm looking directly at the screen, it actually reanimates my eyes and it makes it look like I'm looking directly into the camera. So that is one of the things that I think is really great about Descript. Again, you can add some animation, zoom, pan, and the like. You can adjust the sound. Ducking means that it is going to play some music, and then anytime you're speaking, it will lower that background sound. So that's what ducking actually means. And then again, you can adjust the layout. You can actually say, okay, I want this, instead of I want it to be in 1920, I want to adjust this, and you can unlock this, and you could say, I want this to be 1080 by 1920. So now it's giving me a cropped version, so that way I could use that for social media. I'm going to undo those. Those are a couple of the different things that you can do with Descript, and then you can actually publish directly from here. You can download the file, and these again are, if I have a professional version, if I have the paid version of Descript, these are some of the things that it will do. Again, there are other actions. You can adjust, you could actually type in some things, and you could add content that way. So now now that we finished with Descript, we're going to go to Riverside. So Riverside is another file format that allows you to record very quickly. And one of the things, Riverside originally was designed for podcasting. One of the things that I like about Riverside, it's similar in some ways to Zoom, because you can invite people onto the call. But one of the things that I like is that it utilizes the highest quality of content. So if I'm using an HD camera like I am here, it doesn't squeeze that down to a small camera. So for example, Zoom, when I'm utilizing Zoom, it goes to the lowest common denominator. So if I have an HD camera, but the other person on the other end doesn't have an HD camera, it says, okay, we're going to go to the lowest common denominator. We're going to do 360 by 280 instead of doing 1920 by 1080. So if you think about that, a visual representation is like an iPad versus watching it on an iPhone. It's going to squeeze the image down to the smallest, to the lowest common denominator. And Riverside doesn't do that. Riverside captures the highest quality content that it possibly can. So I'm going to go to the studio, and I may have to stop recording in Loom again, but I'm going to enter my name, and I am using headphones. Again, this is designed for podcasting and that type of thing. So it's similar to Zoom that it will cancel out the sound. If you're not using headphones, it will say, okay, I have to watch and cancel out the sound. So then I'm going to request camera permissions, allow, and then I'm going to choose which camera I'm using. So you can see here, it's giving me a preview, and I'm telling it that I want to use the AirPods, and then I want my default microphone to be the AirPods as well. And I'm hitting allow again, and then I click Join Studio. Now, and I love that I'm able to record this inside of Loom. So you can see that I could do a test recording, and I can check my microphone, I can check my camera. So here I can tell it, oh, I don't want to use that camera. I want to use my Lumina camera, or I want to use my Opal camera, or I want to use my 360. Whatever camera I have plugged in. Right now, I am just, because I want to record this very quickly, I'm just using the MacBook Pro camera. And then I can tell it which microphone I want to utilize. And then similar to Descript, you can actually add a script inside of here. So if you want to, say for example, right here, I have a script that I was recording the other day. It recognizes this was the last thing that you put into the teleprompter. And so it utilizes that teleprompter, and it has that built in. We can take away the script, and then we can share the presentation. So this is, again, similar to Loom, but the thing that I like about this is that inside of Riverside, it will record your screen and it will record your video in full resolution. So you saw how when I record inside of Loom, it's recording the video, and then it's also recording the screen, but it's not recording them separately. They're baked together. They're basically cooked together into one video. In Riverside, it allows me to record my screen capture, and it allows me to record my video. Or say, for example, you have 2 or 3 people on video. It allows me to record on one side, and it allows the other person, I can copy this link and I could invite someone on, and it would allow them to record their video. And we would have the highest resolution, both audio and video, of the other person. And so I would hit record. It gives me a little bit of a countdown, just like it does inside of Loom. And then I'm going to say, okay, hey, I am recording this inside of Riverside. I'm going to share my presentation, or I'm going to share my screen. So sharing my screen is going to allow me to utilize my presentation here. And then I'm going to go to present. And just like I did inside of Loom, only this time inside of Riverside, it is actually capturing my video full screen and my camera full screen. Now it's showing like this in a presentation because this is how if someone were to come to a live presentation, which you can do inside of Riverside as well, you can do a webinar, you can do a live presentation, it will show them like this. So it allows me to be a little bit smaller on the screen, and it puts my content front and center. And then I would be inside of my presentation right here, and I'd be clicking back and forth, and Riverside is going to just capture that as I go along. And it would capture if I have another person on the presentation. And then I could stop sharing my screen. It goes back to full screen of just me. I can also add some other things. I could add a clip marker. I could adjust the microphone. I could adjust the speakers, and then I could always add actually other media. If I wanted to have music playing, if I wanted to have cheering. So you can actually upload different things inside of Riverside, which is kind of fun because then what it does is it allows you to play those things back and enhance your, we call it production value. So we have content on one side, as you've probably seen in one of my other videos. I talk a lot about content and production value and making sure that you optimize for both of those. So Riverside is another option. I like it as well. Each of these options is a paid option. They are each freemium, which is what it's called. They have a free version and then a premium version. So you can test it out, try it out for yourself and see if you like the free version. And they give you a certain amount of content. And then you can test it out and see if you like to do the paid version. There are certain elements that are only available with the paid version. So this has been a quick tutorial on 3 options for recording video yourself. On my other website, on periscopeproductions.com, I have 5 other options. You could use QuickTime, you can use Camtasia, you can use iMovie, and you can use FaceTime video. So those are some other options that you could utilize to capture video. QuickTime oftentimes was the go-to, but now some of these other softwares are catching up, and they have built-in editing as well. So that makes it very simple to utilize. You don't have to learn a difficult program. But I will say, for example, if you were using Riverside, it is a little bit trickier in that it doesn't accept all formats. It recognizes primarily video formats. So it wants you to upload a video file instead of a PowerPoint presentation. Descript and Loom captures the screens, and what you get is what you get. Descript has a little bit more versatility. It's a little bit closer to an actual editing software. It allows you to upload and download certain aspects, video as well as JPEGs and other images. So this has been a quick tutorial on 3 different ways to capture video. And if you'd like more help with this, you can join my program, Lights, Camera, Action, where we talk about how we can simplify your video. We turn on all the lights in your brain, focus the camera of your mind, and take action to get you where you want to go.